Hello again and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed reading the free PDF download we sent you. If the contents resonated with you and you want to find out exactly how to own your own life, then you're in the right place. I remember many years ago when I was 19 years of age and I was employed. I liked my boss, but it dawned on me one day as I was sitting having my sandwich, looking out of the window into the glorious sunshine and watching the world go by without me. My boss controlled everything about me. The house I lived in, the car I drove, the holidays I took, where I went on holiday, the restaurants I could visit, where I shopped, the clothes I wore, everything. He paid me and I had to make what he paid me cover all those things. And when the money was gone, it was back to square one. Another day, another dollar, as it were. So at 19, I sacked my boss and went self-employed, doing the same thing that I was actually doing for my boss. I thought I'd cracked it. In my first month, I earned more in a week than I'd earned in a month before, and I was convinced I was going to be rich. And then I realised I'd traded one boss for many. You see, all those customers wanted a piece of me, and if I wasn't there to deliver the service, they soon let me know their dissatisfaction. I was earning good money, but I still did not own my own life. After 12 years at the coalface, every month back to square one, working harder than ever, because I now had a mortgage, a car loan and bills to pay, I realised once again I was on the wrong programme. So I decided to buy a business. I'd spent some time saving money and I wanted a business where I couldn't actually do the day-to-day work. I wanted one that I knew I could build up and sell, which I did some years later, but that's another story anyway. I figured, now I've cracked it, I've bought this business, I had 47 members of staff, hundreds of clients, and the best bit was, I didn't have to do the work. So how cool was that? Well, the reality was, I still did not own my own life. Everyone still wanted a piece of me. I had to solve this problem here and fight that problem over there, deal with this issue, meetings with the lawyers, contract suppliers, accountants, strategy meetings, plan for next year, etc., etc. I was just as much a slave. I couldn't leave the business for a week, let alone 3 months to see the world. Then I discovered network marketing. I heard of an interview with Donald Trump. He was asked if he lost all his wealth yesterday, what would he be doing tomorrow to start again? Now, without hesitation, he said, and I quote, "I would find a good networking business and I'd get to work." And I thought, there has to be something in this. So I explored further. Then I realised the sheer beauty, the sheer genius of how this whole thing worked. I carefully did my research, and what I discovered was truly mind-blowing. I met ordinary people, ordinary people without qualifications, without specific skill sets, knowledge. Heck, some of them were so shy and lacking in confidence they could barely talk to me. But these people were making an absolute fortune. Not only were they making a fortune, but also they never seemed to be working. And I thought, well, how can that be? Okay, I was making a lot of money in my conventional business, but I'd invested a lot of money and I was working very, very long hours. I had to take care of that investment. Some of these people made me look poor, and that frustrated me. So here's what I discovered. The first thing I realised, as crazy as it sounds, was that this wasn't a sales business. Okay, lots of product was being purchased, but there was no sales presentation in the normal sense going on. So I probed further, and this is what I found. I realised that this is just a recommendation business. Now, at first I couldn't get my head around the fact that I needed no staff, no inventory. I didn't even need to develop my own system to make the whole thing work, like I'd had to do with my previous businesses. You see, network marketing is a sharing business. All I did was carry on doing the things I was already doing anyway, which was to recommend things. I used to recommend movies, restaurants, places to go, hairdressers, books, everything. But for all the recommending I ever did, I never earned a single penny from it. The amazing power of this business is in its simplicity. At first it made no sense to me at all, because I'd been working 12 hours a day for many years, running and building a conventional business. My staff were all working just as hard, and between us we knew that if we stopped working, the company would stop growing. So I parked my prejudices and I got to work. All I had to do was learn a few simple things and teach a few people how to do those simple things so that they could teach others. The most difficult thing for me was trying not to use all the skill sets that I'd previously used as a business owner, because none of that stuff was any use for me. In fact, it would have been better for me to know nothing about business. Okay, so I realised that network marketing was for me, so I had to choose a company. I mean, after all, there are hundreds out there. Some are good, some are bad, some are lousy. So how do you choose? Well, there's a few obvious things that you need to check first. If I was going to go into a new business, regardless of whether it was a networking business or a conventional business, I needed to know that the market was big and growing. Secondly, is that company secure? Are they debt-free? Has the concept been proven? But also, are they young enough for there to be still masses of opportunity to take a big chunk, so that I could take a big chunk of that market? So in order for the company to fit in that profile, they needed to have been trading, I figured, for at least 2 years, but probably no longer than 10 or 12 years. They needed to have at least, I would have said, 10 million in sales to prove that there is demand. And the reason there was that figure is because I'd seen how other companies had built their organisations. The company needed to be an international company because I don't want to restrict myself to the UK market. It would restrict my growth and sales. And finally, the product range had to be consumable. It had to be ethical, had to be safe and competitively priced, and it had to be of the highest possible quality. For example, there would be no point in getting involved in a business that had an opportunity for somebody to purchase something one time only, and that's it. So after all my research, I met up with a lady that had tried to introduce me to a networking business 4 years before. But I wasn't listening. I was this big shop businessman, and what she was involved in was this little tin pot perfume business that I thought to myself, I must be crazy to get involved in. But then she started to show me some proof of her earnings and other people's success, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, here was a lady who could barely speak English. I knew her as a cleaner, and there was no way in my mind she was ever going to make it. But make it she did. And the most amazing thing was, she never seemed to be at work. I could call her, I could always meet with her, she was always available. She could go abroad at the drop of a hat, and she was always smiling. Actually, she still does. So I said, okay, I need to check this out. So I went to work to find out all that I could about the company that she was involved in. So ladies and gentlemen, please let me introduce to you the FM Group. Now what will follow is a brief explanation about FM, what you have to do to earn from the company, the rewards and the possibilities for you and your family over the next 2 to 3 years. You'll be receiving a series of emails over the next 8 days. Within each email is a link to a video, just like this. Please make sure you watch the videos because they contain absolutely everything you'll ever need to know to take advantage of this opportunity.
Established in 2004, FM World was formed with its strategic partners being Profand and Drom Fragrances. Drom Fragrances are a highly respected creator of fragrance compositions, and they have over 100 years of history in the perfume industry. Debt-free from day one, the FM Group has operating bases in over 50 countries worldwide, covering Europe, Africa and Australasia. Set up on a network marketing model, its core business supplies customers via independent distributors with the finest quality perfume and fragrance products, along with a range of cosmetics and home products at a fraction of high street and supermarket prices. All such products are consumed on a regular basis, with most every household using some, if not all, of the products. By the end of 2010, FM had recorded a turnover in excess of £109 million, with the perfume industry expecting a turnover of some £26+ billion in 2012. The quality of the product, simplicity of the system and the absence of traditional high overhead costs, including famous name endorsements, conventional advertising and excessive packaging, enables FM to reward its distributors with both retail profit and a share of the company's worldwide turnover profit on an ongoing basis, thereby offering financial security to them and their families for life. By simply joining FM, enjoying the product range and then recommending the product to others, you, with the assistance of our step-by-step training, can become a massive part of this opportunity. If you'd like to see our full business presentation, you can download it directly after this video.